everybody, and welcome back to the 113th episode of the Triboro Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Alonso, joined by Nicholas O'Brien. How are we doing, Nicholas O'Brien?
Doing good. You sound like a
Auctioneer.
1950s radio,
Oh,
or that too.
I was thinking auctioneer.
That works. It's kind of like the same thing, really. It's
Hey,
not
we
the
got one
same.
loss to the red day, we got two losses to the red day, and that's two losses to the Reds going to the New York Metropolitans.
I don't want to do this anymore.
You don't want to do this anymore?
Suddenly, I've got this urge to quit.
Yeah, I feel like the Yankees and Mets had inverse weeks.
Yes, I would agree. Not happy about it, but
yeah, I'm sure
hey,
we'll get into that.
of course.
I don't know if I told you, I almost was gonna go to the game tomorrow for Mets Phillies.
Really?
Almost.
Almost. Why almost?
Because the office I work at now is like 30 minutes away from the
bank.
Yeah, from the bank. And me and my dad got to knock that place out for the novelty bat. So we almost went for the game tomorrow, but just travel stuff and logistics happened, so we can't. But
yeah, it's also Philly. It's okay.
yeah, it's also
That could be the last one you go to. It's
yeah,
don't
we could
worry.
just nuke the city. Or no, let's wait till they move, even though they're never moving, because there's no reason to. But anyways, that's enough yapping for a little bit. So we will get right into the bonk.
Now entering the Bronx.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Bronx. We're in September baseball now, which means a couple of things. We're going down the stretch of the end of the regular season. Got September call-ups, and we got more stress trying to watch that and football at the same time. But before anything, your injury update / roster moves brought to you by the Triboro MD. This has to go directly into with September call-ups because, first off, Paul Goldschmidt underwent an MRI on his nagging left knee, saying there's no structural damage. It's described as a low-grade knee sprain that when he suffered on August 12th in St. Louis that we kind of talked a little bit about. Brent Hedrick began a minor league rehab assignment with AAA Scranton on September 4th. But the two things that were of note is with expanded rosters, you get two more players. The Yankees activated Ryan Yarbrough off the injured list. He came in relief. I forget which day. I want to say on Friday's game against the Blue Jays. And then JC Escar was called up too, but it seems that all signs are kind of pointing to once Austin Slater is healthy that it's just going to be Escar back down. And Escar is almost like a placeholder. Don't think he's played yet. But yeah, that's that. Went right through that. Getting into the games that actually mattered. But I first mentioned the games that didn't really matter. So you won the last 2 out of 3 of the White Sox game. Cool. It's a road series. I know they suck. Whatever. You win 3 out of 4 on the road. That's never easy to do. You take it. That was the bare minimum what you had to do. You went 6-1 against Nationals and White Sox. Cool. Like you just had to do that as a minimum.
Nice. Must be nice for your team to be able to just beat the competition that they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah. There was one thing to mention was how Devin Williams did blow one of the games, but the Yankees ended up coming back and winning it in extra innings on the road, which is something they normally do not do. But just keep that Devin Williams blowing in the back of your head. And then even game like that last game that they lost in the Sunday game, you can even make an argument that they should have won it if it wasn't for Mike Tauchman, the Sockman, just robbing Stanton. And anyways, took care of business there. The series that actually mattered for so many different reasons, 3 in Houston, 3 against the Blue Jays in the Bronx. The first inning of Game 1 looked like it was going to be horrendous. Volpe botched a double play in the first inning with Max Fried on the mound. You're like, here we go. This is going to end horribly. Somehow it didn't end horribly. Got out of the inning, no runs. Jazz ended up hitting that 2-run home run second, won that game. You have the beginning of what I like to call the bullshit this series with this, where Jose Caballero said a couple of words to the umpire about a check swing and got tossed right away.
And that was what, the first,
The
second
first game.
inning? Wasn't that early in the game, though?
It was. It was within the
was,
first
yeah.
couple innings.
Yeah.
I think it was just not. I mean, he could have, like. It's almost a thing of with Jazz where they just have reputations for this now, that they're going to have much quicker hooks on Jazz and Caballero compared to someone like, I don't know, Aaron Judge.
Right.
Just because they have that reputation of fighting back and kind of like saying stuff. Then again, soft ass thing to eject him
absolutely.
there. Whatever. Grisham had the big grand slam. Max Fried had an ace performance. We were kind of looking for that. It's kind of his best start in a while that he had. Then game 2 was where more bullshit was happening. They were winning for most of the game 4-2. But then fast forward to the 8th inning when the game is tied at 4-4. First off, who is the one person you do not put into this situation?
I believe, would that be Devin?
That would be Devin Williams. That'd be the last person you'd want in this situation. So we went with Devin Williams in this situation. Oh, brother. Carlos Correa double. Jesus Sanchez walk. Yanner Diaz strikeout. Christian Walker walk. Urias strikeout. You got bases loaded. 2 outs. Taylor Trammell at the plate. It's a 2-0 count. Devin Williams throws a pitch that was, for all intents and purposes, a strike. Umpire called it a ball. All right, 3-0. Completely changed the at-bat. I will say it wasn't like a nibble, but it wasn't like fully in the zone. So it's almost like one of those things of when you walk 2 guys in the inning and you're down 2-0 to a guy, you need to attack more. Especially to a guy that's not that good of a hitter whatsoever. So you got to attack, whatever, didn't even count. He comes back to make it 3-2. Then he just drops this ball right into the strike zone. Ball 4. To give the Astros the lead. And right after that, Boone just took him out. While Devin Williams is walking off the mound, he says to the umpire, "You missed 4 pitches. Gone. Ejected." What? So Boone says,
so quick.
Boone says, "Are you fucking kidding me? Oh yeah? You? Goodbye." And then the bullshit just keeps on going more with the umpiring. Then Jeremy Pena, single to make it 6-4. Camilo Doval gets called by a balk by the home plate umpire. Not the umpire that's right behind Camilo Doval. The home plate umpire. How bad is that to you?
I hate balks to begin with because they're just so... What is a balk, right? Like,
it's a check swing, too. What is a check swing?
Yeah, exactly.
No one knows.
It's the same thing, and it's so frustrating because sometimes, yes, you have a point, but sometimes it's like, what? Where?
So minuscule.
Huh? Yeah, it's very frustrating, but yeah, usually I feel like you don't see a lot of home plate umpires call that.
Especially in a spot where you have a runner on third base. Yeah. And a balk literally makes it go from 6-4 to 7-4 in the 8th inning of a close game. And on top of that, too, Doval, I will say, I'm pretty sure he leads baseball in balks, or he's like pretty high up there, especially for relievers, because his windup kind of does look like it induces balks, or looks like it's like may get called. But at the same time, I feel like that's one of those rules of why are we calling it there?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that is one of the things that, like, umpires, refs, whatever you want to call it, they're taught is on the down low. There's certain calls that you shouldn't really call in big spots unless they're egregious. PI is one of them. Like, if it's a close game, big play, both guys are kind of doing some like hand fighting, nothing crazy, they're told just to let it play, just to let it happen. That's why you don't see PIs on Hail Mary much of the NFL. A balk's kind of one of those things when it comes to a big situation where it's like, unless it's egregious, shouldn't really call it. And even then, I don't think he really balked. But I don't know if he did, because I don't know what one is. And it's so stupid, because It's so objective from umpire to umpire, from player to player. And
Yeah.
it makes no sense. And just ridiculous. Then there was a wild pitch. It was 8-4. And do you want to hear how the Astros scored some of these runs? A walk that should have been a strikeout, a wild pitch, and a balk is how they scored 3 out of 4 of those runs.
I would crash out personally.
Yes. With
That's
2
brutal,
people getting
like-
ejected in that span,
Right.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so brutal. Ugh.
It gets worse.
I can't.
It gets worse. In the 9th inning, you have 2 outs, down 4. Cody Bellinger hits a massive home run to make it a 1-run game. And with 3-run home run, I believe it was Dominguez and Judge that were on base. Then Jazz struck out on a ball that maybe, yes, it was a strike, but by the fucking smallest hair on the planet Earth was it a strike that had not been called the entire game. Would stand on
Maybe yes
deck.
strike.
Are we?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
all game you
that's
are not
tough.
calling that, and then to end it on that call is that pitch is way too close to a spot like that to call. But
Yeah. Frustrating.
and it's still not over.
Over.
Because then you go to game 3. Before getting into the umpire stuff, I will mention that I almost said Ryan McMahon hit a homer in the 5th inning to give the Yankees the lead. We've been waiting on kind of the power from him. Seems like he's starting to get there. The thing that kind of shocked me was that they hit Christian Javier, pretty well. He got taken out in the 5th with only 1 out, and he already had 3 runs given up, and he left with the bases loaded. I think 1 more run ended up scoring, something like that, but you hit him well, and he's a guy that has historically dominated you. He's the main reason why they had the combined no-hitter in Yankee Stadium a couple of years ago. So many things where he literally just kills you. Didn't kill you this game. Good job. But speaking of Ryan McMahon, the 6th inning, no catch. So there was a runner on, I believe it was second base, and Ryan McMahon, I'll say it. He puts his glove out to try and make a shoestring catch, and then comes up with it. While it's coming up, the ball comes out of his glove, and the umpire says that it was on the transfer. Nicholas O'Brien, have you seen the play?
I have seen the play.
Was it on the transfer, or did he not catch it?
That was 100% on the transfer.
It could not have been more obvious that it was on the
Yes.
transfer.
If you catch a ball, and as you're coming up, the ball falls, that is the definition of on the transfer.
If you catch it at your feet and the glove is up here with your other hand in the glove pulling out the ball, I don't understand how it's more. And
Yeah.
Nicholas O'Brien, do you know who the third base umpire was?
Let me guess. Was that the home plate umpire from the night
That
before?
was Mr. Brian Walsh.
Interesting. Wow.
Now, after the
Funny how
game,
that works.
after the game on Wednesday, which was game 2, Yankees fans took to social media, finding Brian Walsh's Facebook account. Brian
Crazy.
Walsh, what'd you say?
Crazy.
His public Facebook account.
Fair enough.
And he had, and it's not even that crazy when you could literally just look him up on social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, if they were planning on messaging him about shit and like legitimately
story.
handle stuff, that's a different story. But regardless of the facts of what the intentions were, we have found pictures on social media of Brian Walsh in Red Sox jerseys, going to Red Sox games at Fenway in Red Sox jerseys. Now, I'm not saying that he is through these games for the purpose of the Red Sox. But what I will say is that is one of the worst stretches. That is the worst stretch of umpiring I've ever seen in less than 24 hours. What I will say is I don't understand how umpires don't have any form of accountability. Umpires, if requested, should have to speak to the media. They should have to defend themselves because you literally can be you can literally be destroying people's livelihoods on certain calls.
Union. And I definitely need to look into this more because I bring it up like every single time. The NBA has referees talk to not no, they don't talk to the media, but they put out like through a spokesperson or whatever. They talk about the game that just happened, calls that should have been made, calls that weren't made, stuff like that. I'm not sure if the referees have like a union or something because that's probably the answer right there. But the umpires and the umpire union and MLB should figure something out like that. At the very least, let us hear from the umpire.
They do
Or,
have one.
The referees do have a union?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that means MLB and the umpire union can figure something like that out. And again, it doesn't need to be from the umpire directly. It can be through a spokesperson like it's done in the NBA. Just give us an answer. That's what a lot of it's not going to change anything, and you can't change anything in the moment. That sucks. That is what it is. But at least it gives fans an answer. And even if it's the wrong answer, it's an answer, it's an explanation. It just helps out just a little bit.
This is an article from Manny Randhawa, December 3rd, 2024, on MLB.com. MLB reaches new CBA agreement with Umpire Association that will run through the 2029 season.
Well, we're not going to get that anytime soon, so never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I was curious when the actual CBA for the Umpires Union was up. Nope.
Well,
And I'm pretty sure the NFL does the same thing as the NBA with that, where they will be like, they'll answer, or like have a spokesperson that like will respond to certain calls and what the umpire saw and stuff like that.
yeah.
And
I'll give MLB credit because I think it was, I don't know if you're going to bring it up. MLB did tell, I think Aaron Boone said it, that, yeah, the umpire messed up. It should have been ruled to catch. So, like, sometimes they do that, which, sure, but, still frustrating.
and
But at
even
least
then, like,
it's
they couldn't
something.
challenge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember, what was it, like April or May?
I know what you're
where
gonna
it
say
was,
with the
like,
Mets,
a week
yeah.
stretch with the Mets were just unreviewable calls? Like, shit like that is ridiculous. And we talked about it then, where you have replay. Why is not
Why?
every single play not reviewable?
Like,
And I understand it because, you can't review every little single thing because it's going to prolong the game, yada, yada, yada. But you have the technology. You should be able to come to a clear answer for something like this where it's like cut and dry, a catch. That should take 10 seconds to do.
it's like how 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste. 9 out of 10 umpires would have called that, or 99 out of 100 umpires would have called that an out. The only one that wouldn't have was at third base.
It's Brian Walsh.
And just, yeah, say what you want. Like, MLB told him, like, yeah, the umpire messed up. What does that fucking do for us?
I know, but it's
No,
it's
I
the
know.
same thing with the referees. Like, oh yeah, we missed the call in the third quarter. It
But
should
if
have
you
been,
take it to
travel,
social
but
media and they have to publicly make statements on social media, there will be a lot more backlash that will be in their faces.
yeah, I guess. I
So,
suppose.
regardless, whatever, they won the game. Grisham had his 30th home run of the year, which was insane. The year he's been on, I
So
will
much money.
always take my
So much
victory
money.
lap on the fact that I said last year that it shouldn't be cut and dry. Before the season started last year, it shouldn't be cut and dry that Alex Verdugo starts over Trent Grisham. I said it. We have the clips of me saying it in our dorm room. I will never not say it because I'm taking the biggest victory lap of all time. The fact that Trent Grisham did not see a single pitch of the postseason last year is a joke. Who had more time in the postseason last year, Marcus Stroman or Trent Grisham?
Stroman.
They had the same amount.
I thought he got in. Was he hurt?
No.
I thought he got in there
No,
once.
he was healthy.
Interesting.
He didn't throw a single pitch.
Did he sign anywhere?
No, I don't think so. Not that I saw. But he's not eligible for a playoff roster anyways.
Yeah, no, I know, but still, it's just kind of like.
But
No.
just it's so much funky shit with this whole Brian Walsh situation. Because again, I'm not saying that he did it because he's a Red Sox fan, yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
But dude, you gotta clear your social media. You can't show any sort of bias as an umpire. That's the whole point of an umpire, is that you're supposed to be fair and neutral.
I mean,
And-
is it an issue if, I don't know the dates of these pictures, but like, what if like it was before he became an umpire? You know what I mean?
But they're not that old.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably within the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I guess he looks old.
That's what I mean. Like,
He looks like he's seen some things.
like in those pictures, he doesn't look that old. Or he doesn't look that like it was that long ago.
Yeah.
And it's just, there needs to be overall just investigations into the umpires, because I will say it, if you are promoting gambling this much and you will suspend players for doing it, you will ban players for gambling, you literally have 2 pitchers right now under significant investigation. And I think the fact that with just Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, the fact that they extended the leave means that there's something there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just extend the leave if they like weren't sure like that. No, so if you were literally going to put players under scrutiny and risk and like almost ruin their livelihood, you have to do the same with umpires when they make horrible call after horrible call after horrible call after horrible call. Because we already saw with who was the umpire earlier this year that got banned? The one that had like the only perfect game in umpire history.
Yeah. Pat Hoberg.
Yeah, Pat Hoberg, how he literally got banned for gambling. Or being like linked to gambling, something like that. Forget the entire...
He shared a betting account.
Yeah, share a betting
with a
account.
friend.
That's what I thought it was. So, I don't know. I just think that there definitely needs to be some sort of investigation, and I'm not just saying this because I'm mad.
I'll attest, because I know you feel deeply about the gambling issues. So I'll back you up on this.
Just something. I'm not saying that like you need to get rid of all of it. I'm just saying that if you were going to do it and you are going to have people that literally make decisions day in, day out that are right with it, but you're only going to I guess you could say monitor half of them, then why are you not monitoring? Because if you know you're not going to be monitored, the other half is going to be like, oh, I could get away with more shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless, good job. Took 2 out of 3 from the Astros in Houston, and they kept Jose Altuve 0 for 11. There were multiple times Altuve came on in big spots, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Here it goes.
He didn't do anything. So,
How about that?
good. Great job. Fuck you, Jose Altuve. On to the next thing. Then the 3 games in Toronto, or against the Blue Jays in Yankee Stadium. I cannot tell you, because I couldn't watch these games. I couldn't tell you how quick the air came out of my chest when I heard that Cam Schlittler got taken out in the 2nd inning. I was like, oh.
Oh, it's going to be that type of series, huh?
1 in the 3rd, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Brutal. Just a brutal start. He was due for one of these starts. What are you going to say?
Hand up. That's my fault. I in the lineup on social media at Triboro Podcast, I mentioned how he was really good over his past couple starts. So that's on me, guys.
I dropped something here.
That's on me. Hand up. My fault.
Did you also mention how the Yankees have a history against Kevin Gausman?
I didn't.
Good. Well, because if you did, you would have jinxed it, because he shut down the office when 8 innings of 1-run ball, the only run being a Giancarlo Stanton solo home run.
Yep.
And I think, take both those things, whatever, the biggest story of this game by far was Aaron Judge playing the outfield. The first inning, I forget who it was, they dunked a single in front of Aaron Judge, and I believe it was Varsho, who hadn't even rounded third yet by the time that Aaron Judge got the ball. It was with 2 outs. Third base coach was waving Varsho home, and Judge just threw, I think it was a 66.7 mile an hour ball to Jazz at cutoff.
It was like a little lob.
So
no juice on it.
There was no juice at all. So you go into the next 2 games. You're like, oh boy, all the ground that we just made up, it's done, cooked, bad, whatever. then you bounce back. You had Luis Seal having his best start of the year, going six innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. A little weird, the 1 strikeout, I will say. Huge offense did its job, and just overall phenomenal game. I forget if it was this game or because I couldn't watch either of the games. I believe it was this game that was in the rain delay for a good bit.
Yeah.
I want to say.
That sounds right.
Did your job. Good job. And
Yeah,
then
it was raining.
game 3, Max Fried looked like he was getting cooked through 3 innings. He had 3 runs through 3 innings, and it didn't look like there was anything that could stop it, because Toronto has been a team that's really just had his number all year. After he gave up that run in the 3rd inning, retired 15 of the next 17 hitters, and even one of those hitters that did get on was erased by a double play. And he ended up going 7 innings of 3 runs.
Big boy pants.
That is what you need from a guy like Max Fried. That is your ace. He had an ace performance. You had the Ben Rice home run the 1st inning off of Max Scherzer. I don't care that the Yankees saw that he was tipping pitches, because guess what? If you tip your pitches and they find it, without using technology, of course, because that's a different story, then that is completely legal.
Yes.
The Yankees have done it all year, and you
Tip.
look at the videos on social media, and they will be the most obvious tipping pitches of all time. And if anything, it's on you, Mr. Pitcher and Mr. Pitching Coach, that you did not see it. So, and even then, for whatever reason, some of these guys just can't fix it that much. We all know who I'm thinking of. But, yeah,
Sorry.
that was the Toronto series. It really sucks that you win 2 out of 3 and you game 1 game.
No, I think that's good. I like how that works, actually.
You like how that works?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. It's the most infuriating thing, because you're like, yeah, we did such a good job winning the series. 1 game.
3 games instead of 4.
1 game.
Or 2 games instead of 3, whatever.
It irritates me, but you won the series. That's what you had to do. You went 4-2 against the Blue Jays and Astros, 2 playoff teams. This is the beginning of the rough stretch everyone's been looking at for a while. You've held your own. All I asked was that you didn't get embarrassed. You got embarrassed 1 game, but then you bounced the fuck back in the next 2 games. That is all you could ask for. And just overall, the one thing that the 2 takeaways I have both have to do with the rotation from the series for things that I'm concerned about, because Cam Slotler, little concerned, but I also do think it's a thing of it was bound to happen at one point. Because with these young guys, it doesn't matter how good they are, there's going to be a start where they get lit up. It's going to. You saw it with the Mets with Jonah Tong, and it's going to happen with McLean one start. It may not be this year. It may be next year. Who knows? But it is going to happen.
Yes. And as I beautifully pointed out in the Instagram caption, Schiller was fantastic before this one started. A 2.13 ERA over his past 7 starts coming into this one. He was great. He was really coming to his own. He was pitching more than 5 innings. He had that one almost perfect game in the middle of it. Yeah, just 1 bad start. Still think he's been fantastic. Still very impressed with him. But it happens. And, the credit to the Blue Jays, who are somehow one of the better offenses in baseball.
It really, I think the biggest thing will be see how he comes out next start.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is one thing I have noticed about Cam Schlittler is there'll be times where he will get I don't want to say hit around, but he'll have rough innings. Next inning he'll come out and he'll just be dominant.
Yeah.
So he has that resilience, but this is the most adversity he's faced. How does he bounce back from it? I think he will, but I believe he's going up against he's pitching game 3 against Tigers, and there's a chance that is either a journeyman reliever or Tariq Skubal. We don't know which one it will be. Currently, it lines up as that journeyman reliever. But Tariq Skubal pitches the next day, and they haven't solidified that who is pitching that 3rd game.
Interesting.
So they may pitch him on short rest. They probably won't, but it's definitely something that you have to pay attention to.
No.
So if he does, good luck, buddy. But yeah, that. And then with Luis Seal, he has been a lot better than I have given him credit for. I think he has a 3.13 ERA on the year. I closed out the tab. I meant to keep it open, but I didn't.
331.
Oh my god, I knew it was a 3, a 3, and a 1.
Switch it.
A 3.31 ERA on the year. And for a guy that's essentially been your 3-4 starter, you take that. The one thing that has concerned me, though, is he just doesn't look like he's had control since coming back. Every appearance, he's had at least a walk. The last, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last 7 appearances going from most recent to less recent. 4 walks, 2 walks, 4, 5, 3, 1, 4. It's a lot of walks. That's 23 walks on 35.1 innings pitched. That's call it roughly 6 walks per 9. Not good.
Yeah.
So he really needs to figure that part out because he did pitch well. But the 4 walks and 1 strikeout will not fly in a lot of games.
No, absolutely not.
So all the credit to him
That's
because he
definitely
pitched
concerning.
well. He only allowed 1 run.
Yeah.
But you got to get those walks under control, especially because you look at, and I'll get into it later. It looks like the Yankees are gonna be in the playoffs, and it looks like they're gonna be playing in the wild card game most likely. That's a 3-game series. You're fighting for that 3rd game to try and be in that 3rd game. If you keep walking a dozen and Cam Schlittler comes and bounces back, I don't see how they start him over Cam Schlittler.
Yeah.
And you want to get into a 4-game series? I think he has the leg up over Will Warren because Will Warren hasn't been good lately. But what if Will Warren starts pitching better and then you have a guy that you can't trust because he's walking a village?
Right. Yeah. No, 100% agree. But would you believe me if I said he's actually throwing more strikes this year than last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if on purpose because sometimes it just might not be. But he has a 52.2% zone rate compared to 47.2 last year.
Yeah. And I think part of it is
I was
guys.
gonna say really quickly, he has a much higher zone contact rate than last year. 78.2 last year, 82.7 this
I was
year.
going to say, does it say velo on there? Like his pitch velo?
No. I mean his fastball is averaging 95.
What was it
and a
last year?
half.
Does it say?
Last year, 96.6. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's
And his movement is also different. He's getting a lot more cut on his fastball, which is not particularly great, and he lost some vertical break on it too. So there's not really. I don't know. It's very odd. I'm not sure what's going on there because his arm angle is the same, but yeah, he's getting a lot more like east-west movement rather than up down. But very interesting.
And I was going to say, I think that's part of the issue, is that you can afford to be a little more wild with more velocity. But he hasn't had that same velocity. Now, you can make an argument that he kind of came back in the later half of the summer. So he hasn't had like the kind of couple of months of like really hot weather where you have a lot more velocity to kind of, I don't want to say stat pad, but kind of in a sense.
Yeah.
Like stat pad. But even then, like just coming back from an injury, missing most of spring training. I don't know if it's because of that, what it's because of, but he just needs to pitch better. Question mark? Like he hasn't been horrible. Like I'm being critical because I know he could be better. I wouldn't be this critical if he couldn't be better.
Yeah.
And speaking of a guy that I know could be better and is pissing me off even more because let me get the stat up. I just had it up and it's annoying me that I closed it out. Since August 15th, call it 3/4 of a month, Anthony Volpe has a 136 average, 147 on base, 242 slugging, 389 OPS, -1 WRC plus.
His OPS starts with a 3?
Yeah.
His OPS?
OPS. Not on base. Not slugging. Definitely not average.
Holy shit.
I don't understand when you have a guy like Jose Caballero how he's not starting every day over him.
Yeah, it's
a lost year for him. It's done.
Go
on.
I was gonna say, let me put it this way: is Anthony Volpe starting a playoff game for you?
No.
Why is he starting in some of the most important games in September?
Exactly. And my argument too is if you aren't starting Jason Dominguez because there's players who are playing better than him right now and you need to play your best, which I agree with, and I still think Jason Dominguez plays a very important future for the Yankees, then why are you starting Volpe when you have another guy who is better than him right now? It is the whole Oswaldo Cabrera, Ryan McMahon situation. If Ryan McMahon is a little bit below league average but plays the defense we know he plays, he is such a drastic improvement over Oswald Peraza. Same thing with Caballero and Volpe.
Yeah.
This is
Look.
a lost year for him. It happens. If he's gonna bounce back, he's gonna have to prove it in spring training and next year in the season.
Yeah.
He can't do anything right now to prove it to me unless he literally hits 400 for the rest of the year in playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to have another. His playoffs last year
Yeah, what was
really
it, like
good.
820 OPS, something like that?
He hit 286, 407 on base, 408 slugging. So that's a 8. What's that? 815.
815, yeah.
Yeah, 138 WRC plus.
Yeah, and
But the biggest thing, 400 on base. He doesn't even need to do that. You know, it could be like a 350, and
Yeah.
that's miles better than what you're getting. But he doesn't provide you any. I know it's harsh, but he doesn't provide you anything
No.
right now.
He's also making errors, and say what you want about errors because I think they're kind of an overrated metric in a sense because the better fielders are going to make more errors because they get the balls that guys can't, and they're going to be listed as errors even if they're harder plays.
Right.
But these are plays that are basic Little League plays that have to be made.
If you watch the Yankees day in, day out, Anthony Volpe deserves 90% of the errors. 99% of the errors he's been charged with.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I don't see how it's not, and I know like people have said it before, but the way the Yankees are doing it, it's been putting a target on his back.
Yes, absolutely.
Annoying. I don't want to get on him because it's not like he's being like a dick and he's like forcing himself into the lineup when it's not him making that decision. Of course he's gonna play. What is he gonna say? Like, no, don't play me.
I suck. I don't want to play anymore.
Like what? What? Like no. Of course he's gonna play. It's not on him that he's playing. It is partly on him, or it is on him for playing bad, but it's not on him for playing.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the disconnect that people are realizing. You can be mad at him for not being good. Be mad at Boone and ownership for playing him when he's not good.
Yeah, I think you could be mad at Anthony Volpe, the player, because the player sucks.
Oh, yeah.
The person, he's going through it, and, you know, he's still young. It sucks. It's probably tough for him, so don't rag on him too much. But, yeah, like you said, Boone is still putting him in there every single night, or, 5 out of 7 nights. Like, he can't say no. I mean, I guess he can, but still, he's not going to.
Like,
and also, really quick back on the errors, because I just want to point it out. Out of the 19 errors he's committed this year, 13 have been throwing errors.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of paints the picture a little better.
Yeah. And even then, that puts you in a worse position because you're like, all right, he's going to be making a lot of errors. We may have to start Paul Goldschmidt more than Ben Rice because Goldschmidt's a better defender at first.
Right.
So then you're compromising I don't think that's been a primary thought process.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's nothing.
Yeah, it's not crazy to think.
So you're compromising your offense by doing that even more. And I get it. He still does have a role on this team as a guy that pinch hits against lefties, maybe, if you have no one else that can go. As a guy that you want to put on as a pinch runner, stolen bases, whatever. In a pinch, he can play shortstop. But he can't be starting. And that's kind of just the point that we have gotten to with him. And I think this conversation can kind of just go on endlessly.
For sure.
So, unless there's anything else, I could move into my other things.
Yeah, we can move along.
So, moving along. As I mentioned earlier, just a recap of where the Yankees are at in the playoff standings. 2 games back for the AL East, 1.5 games behind, up on top of Boston for that top wild card spot. It seems like kind of the way everyone is that the top 2 wild card spots are going to be AL East teams, whether that be Blue Jays, Yankees, Boston, however you want to just put that together. Looks like it's going to be those 3 teams. And that is why these 3 games against the Red Sox are so uber important. Because if the Yankees play in that wild card game against the other wild card team, it'll be a team from the AL East. If you're in the 4th wild card spot, you play the 5th wild card team, and the 4th team is the home team for all 3 games. If you're 5 and the Red Sox are 4, you're playing all 3 of those games in Fenway. If you're 5 and the Blue Jays are 4, you're playing all 3 of those games in Toronto. I think you see my points. That is why winning the division is so uberly important. Because it's also a thing of, if you win your division, you are either going to be the number 1 or the number 2 seed. Because you have a decent amount of games up on Houston, who is right now the 3 seed, whether that be Houston, Seattle, Texas, because Texas and Seattle are a couple of games back behind Houston for the division. Whoever it may be. Being able to be the 2 seed, you then play the worst division winner / the winner of the worst division winner and the wild card, the winner of the 3 seed versus 6 seed. Correct, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
the worst division winner versus wildcard 3.
So what that would seem is that you would play either play the winner of the wild card game between 2 wild card teams, or you play Seattle / Houston / Texas. It is so much easier on yourself if you just win the division. And there is a chart that someone made for all the playoff scenarios for the Yankees, what they have to go and what teams have to go to either beat them, match them, whatever. So the Yankees play 6 games against the Red Sox and Detroit. I think you win the series against Detroit because you have Casey Mize versus Will Warren, Jack Flaherty versus Carlos Rodon, and TBD versus Cam Slittler. I really think it's not going to be Tariq Skubal because I get it, you want to win the game, but you're going to risk his arm by putting him on short rest for a non-playoff game this close to the playoffs.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, I get it, it's a regular... They're in the playoffs. I don't think they will.
Barring something catastrophic.
Exactly. So, let's just say you win 2 out of the 3. Then you go to Fenway. And do you know who the Red Sox have?
Garrett Crochet and Brian Bella.
And Lucas Giolito, who shut them out.
And Lucas Giolito.
All 3 of those guys have shut out the Yankees this year. Multiple times.
That's crazy, lineup.
Yes.
Obviously it's not planned, but wow, the Red Sox must be thrilled.
You have Luis Seal.
Therefore, you were pissed.
You have Luis Seal, Max Fried, Will Warren. At least you have Max Fried in there.
Yeah.
So, let's just say they win one of those games, because I'm not excited for that. So you go 3-3. Then you play 3 in Minnesota, 4 in Baltimore, 3 against White Sox, 3 against the Orioles. Let's say they go... Let's be pessimistic and say that they go... What would that be? 7-6. Right? So, 7-6 plus 3-3 would be 10-9. If the Yankees went 10-9 to finish out the season, they would have 90 wins. And for the Toronto Blue Jays to still win the division, they would have to go 8-11. So the Yankees, to finish ahead of Toronto, have to win 3 more games in Toronto. Because while they're only 2 games back, the Blue Jays do have the tiebreaker. So let's be a little more optimistic. Let's say that they win. They go, what was that? That's 13 games. Let's say they go 9-4, 10-3. Let's say 10-3. 10-3 plus 3-3 is 13-6. Then the Blue Jays would have to go 11-8.
Not impossible.
So it really is a thing of the Yankees just have to beat up the bad teams and at minimum tread water against the good teams. And that is how you win this division. Because it is not impossible. Because then you go to the Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
Go to the Blue Jays schedule. They play 3 against the Astros. Let's see. 3 against the Orioles. 4 against the Rays. 3 against the Royals, who are trying to fight for the playoffs. 3 against the Red Sox. 3 against the Rays. So they have a tougher schedule, but I don't want to say by a lot, but like by a decent amount. They have a tougher schedule.
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
So it's tough. It's gonna come down to it. But if you don't win the division, don't make it because of you. Make it because Toronto won more games, not because you lost more games.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's a good way to put it in.
If you go in, and because I already am a lot more optimistic by them going 4-2, because they've really only had one bad game this entire week, and even then they bounced back and flushed it, which is so impressive to me. It's a lot more impressive that they lost that big game and then won 2 than winning 2 and getting embarrassed. Because they were able to just flush it against a team that has killed them, and they didn't let it just roll over and snowball.
Yeah.
So you have to do this. And Boston has to have 2 more wins than you to jump you for the rest of the season. So, and they have like kind of like an up and down schedule. The Yankees still do have an easier schedule. That's it. You're really going to know where the Yankees are next week. Because that'll be after the Yankees play these 6 games, the 6 tough games, and that'll be after the Blue Jays play 3 against the Astros.
Yeah.
So
I generally don't have much more to add. I'm trying to find
you can do it.
Strength of schedule.
I think it's on Tankathon.
Yeah, the Red Sox do have the toughest.
They
here
do.
on out. They do. Yankees have the easiest.
Where are you seeing that?
On Fangraphs.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking
And
at
then Blue
Tankathon
Jays-
has
Yeah,
Red
what does
Sox
that
at 6th hardest, Blue Jays at 12th
6th
hardest,
hardest.
and then Yankees at 26th hardest. And that's just based off purely winning percentage.
say? Right. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, I truly feel like it's kind of all around the same. The Yankees do catch a break with Minnesota and the White Sox, but sounds like you're going to be a Tampa Bay Rays fan for.
Oh my
quite a
God,
bit.
yeah. I will be going to so many games at George M. Steinbrenner Field.
But,
And that's another thing too, dude. Imagine the Rays make the playoffs and you literally have 7 games at the dimensions of Yankee Stadium.
I would hate that so much.
It's so bad. And also, I don't
Thank
know
God
if
they're
you know,
not going to make it.
September, October, I don't know if you know this, is fucking hurricane season.
Yeah, Florida ain't too happening this time. of year.
Hurricane season.
Yeah.
So we better hope that they don't make the playoffs, because if you thought the delays with the Mets, Braves were bad last year,
God.
woo-wee! Imagine that in a playoff
1.7% to make for the Rays. Which
They were hot.
I don't think they were.
They were.
Cooled off significantly.
And then they cooled off, yeah. The last 3-6 days, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it looks like the AL playoff picture, the teams are finalized with the exception of maybe Seattle / the Rangers / the Royals. But I'm pretty confident it will be Seattle for that last wild card spot.
I think so as
Or
well.
at least in the playoffs, whether it be them winning division, Seattle, or then Houston being the wild card spot, whatever it may be. But yeah, win. Don't be dumbasses. That's all I had. If you didn't have anything else.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, Yankees control their own fate, and that's all you can really ask for. So,
Beat the
that's what
shit
we're
teams.
watching. Yeah, exactly. But that being said, we'll flip the switch and go on over to Queens.
Now entering Queens.
Hello Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Queens. We're the Mets. We'll talk about the goats in a few. The Mets had basically the opposite of the Yankees week, where very disappointing, very frustrating, and I'm not very happy with them right now. But before that, injury report, Triboro MD. You know the rules, not rules, the how things go. And some roster stuff as well. Francisco Alvarez and Reed Garrett both back. Both came back earlier this week. Jose Siri is nearing a return. Tyler McGill is nearing a return. And Tyrone Taylor is placed on the 10-day IL for strained hamstring. But the biggest one is Jesse Winker is probably done for the season. That was a little earlier last week. But still I gotta give my love to Winker for a minute because this signing obviously just did not work out, and sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. It's unfortunate. I really liked Winker. I really thought he was a good fit coming back, but he just couldn't stay healthy, and it all started with one play in the outfield. It sucks because this is due to, I think it's back inflammation. I forgot what exactly his issues with his back are, but it's tough because I'm not trying to say anything bad, but it's like, I'm not sure how much longer he can keep playing if his back is just going to keep barking like this. Like, first it was the oblique, and, he came back for a game, I think, in July, and then it's been his back ever since, and he just can't get past the hump, and it sucks. I feel horrible for the guy, but I wish him nothing for the best. It sucks that it didn't work out here, but he's still going to hold a very special place in my heart and a lot of Mets fans, I'm sure, for, his second half last year into the playoffs last year. That maniac in the playoffs. So, sucks for Winker, but wish him all the best.
Do you think... I don't know how much more he plays after this year. As sad as this to say, like, with how much... No, it could just be a thing of he was trying to rush to get back. So that's why, like, he tries to rush to get back, something else goes wrong, yada, 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 so much. Gets velocity and get healthy, but, like, I don't know. And, I don't know. We'll see. Because it's not like he was the most, I don't want to say solidified, but it's not like he was, like, this all-star super stud. That teams are like, I don't care if he has injuries, I'm going to take the shot on.
It's not Mike Trout.
Like, I think he probably gets a minor league deal next year. Maybe.
I think it depends on how he just recovers in the offseason.
Yeah.
And it's not like he had a good, how many games is this? 26 games with the Mets either.
Yeah.
He hit 229, 309 on base, 400 slug, and 94 weighted runs created plus.
709 OPS, though.
Yeah. For a strong side, what should be a strong side platoon. So a little rough around the edges, but I hope he does. It's just probably not going to be for the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on from that, Luis Angel Acuna was the extra roster add, and the pitcher doesn't really matter because the Mets are still shuffling relievers.
Yeah.
But before we get into more, kind of like highlights and the games and stuff, I just want to talk about the week in total. Like, the last time we did an episode was coming off the sweep of the Phillies at home, where you were 4 games behind the division. You went 4-6 since against the Marlins, Tigers, and Reds. The Phillies went 7-3. Therefore, all your hard work of sweeping the Phillies is literally for nothing. You are exactly where you started at 7 games back.
Which is the worst thing that could happen with less games available to play.
Yeah. The Marlins series looms large. Missed opportunities, bad play, bad defense, it's overall bad series. It was just super frustrating because this team, as you can tell by the title, is allergic to momentum. This team they can't, like the Yankees, I think won 5-6 games in a row when they were playing the Nationals and White Sox. I don't know if the Mets have won more than 3 games in a row since July, because I think that's when they had their 8-game winning streak. But it's like, win a game, lose a game, win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 2, win 1, lose 1, lose 2, win 1. They just can't build off of anything, and it's so frustrating because they keep reeling you back in just to kind of knock you down again. Like the Marlins series, bad. Then they take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers, who are, leading the AL Central, a very good team. Take 2 out of 3 from them in very convincing fashion. You travel to Cincinnati, where you can bury the Reds, and you lose 2 out of 3 there. Pick a struggle. Like, I don't know. It's so frustrating to watch this team day in, day out. Because again, they can't build any form of momentum.
Because it's
And it's brutal.
It's also a thing of I feel like the Mets almost guarantee their ticket for the playoffs if they win that series.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's almost a guarantee they
more
make the
so.
playoffs.
If not for the Giants and the Diamondbacks low-key making some noise.
Both 7-3 in their last 10.
Right.
Even the
could have
Cardinals.
buried the Reds.
Cardinals are 7-3.
Like, fuck this. It's so annoying. Like, you could have at least put the Reds in the rearview mirror and just have to, quote unquote, worry about the Giants, who you have the tiebreaker over. So it's not that much of a, quote unquote, issue. It's just they had so many opportunities to build a lead, to build off the sweep of the Phillies, to get closer to the division, and again, they just fall back to where they were at the beginning of the 3-game set in Citi Field.
Doing very quick math. Had the Mets won just 2 out of 3, the Reds would have gone 4th in the wild card race to 7th. And if you add one more win, you'd be 1 game behind San Diego.
Yeah. They were tied as of Friday night, they tied San Diego. But then San Diego won the next 2, Mets lost the next 2, so now you're 2 games back.
Because it's also a thing of, say that you get the second wild card spot, then you're playing the Cubs instead of the Dodgers in a 3-game set.
Right. I was having this conversation with my dad, actually, like the other day. Because, truth be told, it's probably you either face the Cubs, if the Mets make the playoffs, you face the Cubs or you face the Dodgers in a 3-game set. So like, who would you rather face? Well, I'll paint it this way. Cubs are probably starting Shota Imanaga and Matthew Boyd 1-2. The Mets have struggled against lefties all year. The Dodgers, on the other hand, as scary as they are they're starting probably Yamamoto, Snell, and Glasnow if he's healthy. I doubt they start Ohtani because he's barely going 5 innings. But in a 3-game set, maybe. So I don't know.
It's the playoffs. Honestly, you start Ohtani.
Yeah, I think it's a much bigger conversation than it might seem. It's just, especially because you would also play at Wrigley, where offense just goes to die for the most part.
But it's also a thing of, I think that almost helps you because you'd be having young pitchers. I feel like as young pitchers, I would in the rotation, I'd much rather have them at Wrigley against a Cubs lineup where Pico Armstrong has been one of the worst hitters in baseball over the last 2 months. Maybe a little bit longer. Kyle Tucker has like 27 broken bones that he's playing through. Yeah. This isn't the same Cubs team as 3 months ago that it was. So it's a completely different team. I don't even think it's close, honestly, for me.
That's fair. But I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it there. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. You got to get there first. There's no need to, talk about things that aren't certain. Yeah. So I'm gonna kill the conversation. We'll move on.
Talk about who you'd rather face when you're guaranteed in.
Exactly. Beggars can't be choosers. But like Justin mentioned a few minutes ago, the Mets have a 4-game lead at the wild card 3 spot. I think the Giants and Reds are tied.
Giants and Reds are tied at 4. Then Diamondbacks are 4.5. The Cardinals are 4.5 as well.
Right. So, it's like the phantom zone of they're not really in it, but they kind of are, and it's the Mets.
The
So,
Reds are 72 and 71. The Giants are 72 and 71. The Diamondbacks are 72 and 72. The Cardinals are 72 and 72. So two teams a game above 500 and two 500 teams are the ones that trail the Mets.
yeah. So
I wish
we'll
we
see.
had that luxury.
But at the end of the day, the Mets still control their own destiny. They just need to play well from here on out. We'll talk about the schedule as we close things up, but just to kind of tie this little section in a bow, just very frustrating week. You could have gained ground on the Phillies, you could have buried the Reds, and you did neither. So again, just very frustrating, just poor play, and yeah, it's just annoying. So going off of that, not really going to talk about all the games because there were a lot. To kind of just hit on the big things. One of the biggest being Kodai Senga accepting an option to the minor leagues. He had a 5.9 ERA for 12.7 walk percentage, a 264 average against since returning from the IL in July. Justin, what were your first reactions when you saw that he accepted that assignment?
Wow.
Let me rephrase that. Were you surprised that he said yes?
Wow.
Wow.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That was kind of just my, like, what the fuck? I feel like the Mets have made so many of those moves recently, but that's another story. Just moves out of left field I did not see coming.
Yeah, it was kind of talked about leading up to it, but I was still shocked he said yes. Because look, this is a much bigger conversation than Kodai Senga. Like this, it kind of sets a small bit of a precedent because I think it's a little different because of the contract. He's a foreign free agent, like all that, or international free agent. I think is the correct term, but this is a guaranteed contract. This is a veteran accepting an an option where he could easily just say no.
I don't know why, but I feel like you never hear about this. But then the Mets have done it twice in the last 2 years. Because wasn't the same thing with JD Martinez?
Well, that was because
But
I mean, in the similar situation, yes, but it
you
was
get what
because
I
he
mean,
signed
though.
late. Yeah,
You get what I mean, though, that he chose to go down.
yeah,
He didn't have to. So I
right,
feel like
right.
you don't hear about this, and this has happened twice under David Stearns.
Yeah. So
So
I think huge props to Senga because again, he really owed the Mets nothing. Like he could have just said no and try to figure it out up here in the majors, but you know, this was a team first move. This was a selfless move for Senga. And it sounds like he's going to throw a few bullpens, get into a few games, and then the Mets are going to circle back and see where he's at. But he just hasn't looked right since he came back. The command has not been there. The body language has been really weird. The comments after the game have been really weird. He doesn't really know what's going on. So I think this was absolutely necessary, but again, still surprising that at the end of the day, he did accept something like this. But moving off of that, bullpen's bad. That's annoying. Since August, the Mets only have 4 relievers with an ERA under 3.5. That being Edwin Diaz, Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, and who am I missing? Brooks Raley. I can't use all 4 of those guys every single day. Justin foreshadowed it earlier in the Bronx. Ryan Helsley is still really, really bad. He's really bad, guys, and I'm not sure how he gets out of this. Ryan Helsley has been awful as a New York Met, and it's very disappointing. It was the tipping issue, which he maybe fixed. He changed his windup, or he changed like his set motion. He used to set up here, now he's setting down here. The command is still off, but the velocity and the stuff is there. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's so far away that I'm just not sure when I'm going to get there. Ryan Stanek is also still on this team. Him and his 5.5 ERA. Don't understand that. I really don't. He's maybe had a good 2 weeks combined this season. Not sure why he's still on this roster. And then everyone else is just like, I can't get too mad because you have Max Kranick, who's out for the season, Denell Nunez, who's out for the season, AJ Minter, who's out for the season, Danny Young, who's out for the season. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 guys that probably should have been in this bullpen who are all out for the season. It's just, really wanted to like this bullpen. I really did. But as of right now, there's maybe 1 or 2 trustworthy guys. One being Edwin Diaz, who pulled a fucking save out of his ass on Friday night. Just, again, super frustrating from the Mets because it just can't get everything right at the same time. The offense struggling for majority of the year. The starting pitching carried it. Then the starting pitching went down. The offense really didn't carry the load. And now the offense is finally carrying the load, and the starting pitching is dreadful outside of the 3 rookies. And even when one of the rookies only gives up 3 runs, you can't win a game. But speaking of rookies, we haven't talked since Jonah Tong's debut. I didn't even get to talk about his first debut, which I was at Friday night against the Marlins. I think you saw a little bit of everything so far in these first 2 starts. First of all, from a character point of view, I love Tong. He just got that young, bubbly, everything is amazing kind of look to him. He's very, very whimsical. But when he's on the mound, he's like a psychopath. The start against the Reds, after he gave up the first couple of homers, you can see he's visibly pissed off at, most likely himself, which I love. But again, the issues that we saw are the secondaries definitely need some work. Like I mentioned before he made his debut, he's essentially a 2-pitch pitcher. It's been fastball, changeup. And, the curveball, he's tried to work in a little. I think he's thrown a few sliders, tried to work in that as well. And the thing with Tong, which we saw in the Reds game, his fastball needs to play up because he gets so much vertical ride. So the ball kind of looks like that riding motion. He gets so much break on his fastball that it needs to be played up because hitters are just going to get under it. But you get just a little bit of barrel on that ball and you're going to hit it out, which again, we saw in Cincinnati. But still, besides that, in Cincinnati, he gave up 3 home runs on 3 hits, gave up 4 runs, but yet he still went 6 innings when we have 3 or 4 veterans in this rotation that struggle to get out of the 4th. But very impressed with what I've seen from Jonah Tong so far. Very fun to watch. And I think out of the 3, being Tong, Sproat, and McLean, he probably still needs the most work, which makes the most sense because he is only 22 years old. But he's still been very, very impressive. Moving on to Sproat, who made his debut on Sunday, he looked really solid. It was a quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, struck out 7, walked 4, mixed in everything. Kind of just like here's a little bit of everything, good luck and hit it. Curveball looks good. Sweeper looked good. He used his 4-seam sparingly, but he got the strikes with that, the sinker, got some ground balls with that. This guy just has like a starting pitcher's repertoire that I like. I'm not gonna take credit for thinking this, but I feel like you read a lot, you hear a lot, and Sproat probably has the highest floor out of these 3 guys because he's, at the end of the day, he's he can probably be a Mitch Keller type, which I think is still very valuable. A 3.5 to 4 ERA, pitches 6 innings a night, gives up 3-4 runs. That is still very valuable. And that's what I saw from him on Sunday. And I, again, was very, very impressed. He looked good. He looked in control. He kind of really just had one bad inning, and one bad inning resulted in 2 runs, which isn't even that much. So very impressed from the Mets rookies. But Justin, are you concerned at all that the Mets are almost relying on these guys?
I kind of alluded to that in when I mentioned like Cubs versus Dodgers. Like, gets to a point where kind of need that experience because I magical runs only come so often. And what are the odds that the Mets have it 2 years in a row with 2 completely different teams?
Yeah. Not high. Tell you that much. But I think you kind of saw the first step of that. God bless you. You saw the first step of that on Saturday with Tong. That it was fastball, 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 and then home run, home run, home run. Excuse me. That's like a rookie. I don't want to call it a mistake, but that shows that he's still a rookie. Like, you can't throw your fastball as a starting pitcher. You cannot throw your fastball currently 60% of the time and expect to get outs on a consistent basis. So, and all things considered, you're in a 3-game set. 2 of those games are probably being started by rookies, which is not particularly great. I mean, it says a lot to the rookie, and that's great. And these kids have kids, and they're my age or older. And these guys have made huge strides to get where they are now, to get to the majors, especially someone as young as Tong. But to rely on them is a huge misfire. And I struggle to put blame on the organization for this, because I blame David Stearns because he said he doesn't want to use these guys out of necessity, but it does feel like it's out of necessity. Manaya got hurt early. It is what it is. He hasn't been good since he got back. Kodai Senga was fantastic in the first half. Got hurt. Sucked. Can't really do anything about that. David Peterson is now kind of just getting regression monstered each and every start, which happens. And Frankie Montas, again, was a swing and a miss by the front office, and that happens. But I think Saturday of Tong, quote unquote, struggling, because again, he still went 6 innings, only allowed 4 runs, I think was a good wake up call to the fan base, to organization, and even Tong himself. Like, this is the major leagues. Tong has to kind of change how he attacked hitters in the minors to get guys out up here. And to the organization, like, hey, this guy is 22, or these guys are 24. If we want to go where we want to go, having them's going to help, but we cannot rely on them. These are not your stoppers, right? This isn't Max Fried. Even, Sean Manaea last year was that. But it's kind of going in that direction.
And even then, Sean Manaea was running on fumes last year. Right. And it's not that much better this year.
Yes.
So
rough.
And it's the thing of, like you said, in the minors, like, your stuff was just so much better than everyone else's, so you could get away with just being like fastball, fastball, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? 90, like, I'm just saying, like, obviously, like, 95, 96 is average in MLB for a fastball.
Right.
It's not that crazy. You're not going to be able to blow it by in the playoffs. Call it Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, Dodgers plethora of motherfuckers. You're not going to be able to blow it by the entire everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe PCA at this point, but.
Yeah, maybe. But No, you're right. I mean, I think the biggest thing for Tong is the velocity is average, but he has the good movement. But still, the movement is only as good as you locate it. And like we saw in Cincinnati, those type of fastballs play the best up in the zone. But if you even clip the barrel, that ball has a very good chance of going out. Now, if it's a solo home run, cool, whatever, move on. But that's still the case. But let me be clear. I'm still very impressed by these rookies. I'm very glad they are on this team. They deserve to be on this team. But I do think it's unfair to them, the position that they are currently in, which is out of their control. That's really all I had about the rookies. Justin, if you had anything else on those two, or even Noah McLean.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. So moving on from that, we'll talk about some good, which is really just the offense. You know, the rookies were good as well, but the offense is finally the offense that we all thought it was going to be for the season.
Are you going to talk about their August record?
I forgot it, but if you remember it or have it, go for it.
So, to lay the groundwork, the Mets set franchise records in, it was home runs, runs scored, and was it also OPS?
Probably.
I know it was
that.
home runs and runs scored. For a month in Mets history, they quite literally scored the most runs in franchise history in a month. They went 11-17.
8 games under 5. Nope, 6 games under 500.
I thought it was 8 too.
Yeah, 6 games under 500. Ha! Like, again, that's just how bad the pitching's been. It's been abysmal. It's been really, really, really bad. So with that being said, here's some statistics about the offense. Since August 1st, the Mets are first in weighted runs created plus, second in runs, first in weighted on-base average, first in WAR, first in OPS. They have 8 players with a 120 WRC plus or higher. They have 6 players with a 150 WRC plus or higher. Oh, remember how they sucked with runners in scoring position? Oh yeah, they're second in team WRC plus for the year with runners in scoring position. Since August 1st, they are first in that category, Team WRC Plus with runners in scoring position, by a good chunk at 186, with the Toronto Blue Jays being second at 161. You really had to wait all fucking year for this? You couldn't just disperse it throughout?
And the bullpen said, nah, today's my day off.
Bullpen said no. Sean Manaea said no. Kodai Senga said no. David Peterson recently said no. Ryan Helsley said, fuck you. Frustrating is the best way I could just put this team. And again, I said this, I think, a month ago. Like, most of the time, this team is just not fun to watch. It's agonizing. It's painful. It's frustrating. They should not be sneaking into wildcard 3. This team should be playing for the division, but now you're 7 games back, and that is basically not in, you're not thinking about the division anymore. You had a chance when you swept the Phillies in Citi Field being 4 games back. But now, no shot. The Phillies would need to collapse. Just very frustrating. That's really all I had. I don't know if you had anything else.
The way you said that. Crazier things have happened.
Fair.
But can the Mets bank on crazy things happening 2 years in a row?
Nope.
Exactly. I think that's the best way to leave it.
Yeah. Forgot quickly, we'll look ahead.
To PTSD.
PTSD, yes. Because they play the Phillies, the Texas Rangers, and then the San Diego Padres.
So P for Phillies, T for Rangers,
T for
S,
Texas.
D.
D. PTSD. But that starts with a 4-game set in Philadelphia starting tonight, Monday night. Got some pretty big news on the Phillies side. Alec Boehm and Trey Turner both going on the IL. So you're missing both of them. but they probably have their pitching lined up how they would like to, besides Aaron Nola starting on Monday. But you got Nolan McLean versus Aaron Nola Monday night, Sean Manaea versus Ranger Suarez, Clay Holmes versus Christopher Sanchez, and David Peterson versus Jesus Luzardo. Just split and, scoreboard watch. That's really it. Then you have 3 games against Texas at home. Got Jonah Tong versus Jacob deGrom making his first start in Citi Field since leaving, and I have to go to a fucking wedding and I can't watch it. Then you got Brandon Sproat versus Patrick Corbin on Saturday, and Nolan McLean versus I forgot his first name, but Latz on the Rangers on Sunday. So at the end of the day, split with Philly, take the series from Texas, and move on. Because after this week, it becomes a little trickier and bigger. Because then you got the Padres, who you are in direct competition with. Then you play the Cubs, who you are in direct competition with. And then you end the season in Miami, which that is frightening in itself. So, Justin, I already asked you, but one more time. Closing thoughts. Anything else to add?
Gotta pray for an implosion. That
Listen,
really is all it comes down to.
I'm always praying for Philly's downfall, right? So that goes without saying. But just play good baseball. That's really it. A win streak would be nice, 5 games, 4 games. I'll take 4 games. 4 games sounds cool. Just enough of this 2-1, 1-2, 3-1, 1-2, 2-1, 3-1. It's annoying. It's frustrating. It's not fun to watch. But I'll stop rambling. I'll let you guys get going. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know you're enjoying us. Let us know what you think about the Yankees, the Mets, the playoff chances. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Lets us know you're enjoying the show and helps us out. Follow all of our social media accounts at Triboro Podcast. We post lineups and final scores every day on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and Facebook. So you get a little bit more of a daily thing there. Thank you guys once again for listening and watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you.